Alright, ladies and gentlemen, today I wanted to do an analysis on The Cult of Personality by Living Colour. This is a song that I think a lot of people have heard, but up until about now, its meaning would probably go, or would have gone, over a lot of people's heads. It sure did me when I was a kid, because it's a really good song. It's really catchy, and it's got a lot of great artistry going toward it. But what's even crazier is the actual message that it has to spread itself. So, to give you an example of what this song is, you'll probably know through this.
The cult of personality, like Mussolini.
So, now you know, or you have a refresher, or you don't know. And if you don't know, go look this up, because this is interesting. Of course, it starts off with Malcolm X talking about, during the few moments we have left, we want to talk right down to earth in a language that everybody here can easily understand. Now, of course, in that case, it's rock and roll! But let's start looking at this shit. Okay, so if you don't know about the cult of personality, let's give you a refresher on that. Now, of course, we know that Wikipedia is actually a victim of the cult of personality itself. Mostly the people who edit it and, put things down on it. The people who are woke. But there's cult of personality with Trump, too. But a cult of personality, or cult of the leader, arises when a country's regime, or more rarely, an individual, uses the techniques of mass media, propaganda, the big lie, spectacle, arts, patriotism, and government-organized demonstrations and rallies to create an idealized, heroic image of a leader, often through unquestioning flattery and praise. A cult of personality is similar to apotheosis, except that it is established by modern social engineering techniques, usually by the state or the party and one-party states and dominant party states. It is often seen in totalitarian or authoritarian countries. The term came to prominence in 1956 in Nikita Khrushchev's secret speech on the cult of personality and its consequences, given on the final day of the 20th Congress of the Communist Party of the Soviet Union. In the speech, Khrushchev, who was the first secretary of the Communist Party, in effect, the leader of the country, criticized the lionization and idealization of Joseph Stalin, and by implication, his communist contemporary Mao Zedong, as being contrary to Marxist doctrine. The speech was later made public and was part of the de-Stalinization process in the Soviet Union. Now, there's plenty of cults of personality. Dr. Fauci is one. Biden is one. But most of the world leaders are. Anyone who is infatuated with Biden, Boris Johnson, Justin Trudeau, Emmanuel Macron, Angela Merkel, any one of those people. Those people are obsessed with the cult of personality, the cult of the leader. And people who will not criticize, Donald Trump or any other Republican people, they're taken in by the cult of personality as well. And this is what the elites want. They really know a lot about the cult of personality, and that's why they're working so hard on getting people to listen to celebrities and experts and shit like that. They're trying to expand the cult of personality to so many different facets of life. And that's what this song talks about. So let's analyze the lyrics now. Look in my eyes, what do you see? The cult of personality. Pretty straightforward, and already, a certain amount of people would be caught off guard. I know your anger. I know your dreams. I've been everything you want to be. I'm the cult of personality. Like Mussolini and Kennedy, I'm the cult of personality. Now, do you see the contrast there? You see how it's a cult of personality toward a fascist dictator and a cult of personality towards someone who is the complete opposite end of that spectrum. Yet, the cult surrounding their personality is the same in essence of its strength and virality. Neon lights, Nobel Prize. When a mirror speaks, the reflection lies. You won't have to follow me, only you can set me free. There's so much here, okay, in this song that analyzes the cult of personality. I believe here this is talking about people being infatuated with things like Nobel Prize, That's part of the cult of personality. Anyone with a Nobel Prize, if people are gawking over the fact they have a Nobel Prize, that's part of the cult of personality. And then you won't have to follow me, only you can set me free. And that's the thing, is the cult of personality comes through people. It doesn't matter how influential the individual portrays themselves to be or tries to be. It has to do with, are they captured in the eye of the public in one way or the other. Liberals were also infatuated with the cult of personality toward Donald Trump because they saw him as a dictator, when on the right it was the other way around. So it's quite interesting. I sell the things you need to be. I'm the smiling face of your TV. I'm the cult of personality. This is mentioning the politicians. This is mentioning the consumerism, things that make us believe we need to be a part of this cult. Like, the cult of personality has grown so much bigger than what it used to be. Now it encompasses not just people, it encompasses like places, things, because we're associating identities with so many different facets of life. Instead of people having their own identity, they identify with things, which means that the cult of personality has completely expanded. And then, of course, like the person we mentioned, I'm the cult of personality, like Joseph Stalin and Gandhi. Again, here we go. Differing perspectives of the cult of personality mentioned within the song, and just that hammering in of the point that it's the cult of personality with all of these things. I missed the most important line. I'm retarded. I tell you 1 and 1 makes 3. That's the authoritarian side of shit. So when the authoritarian dictator starts saying that 1 + 1 = 3, and you say it equals 2, if people start defending the dictator, you know what's going on. It's the cult of personality. You know, I tell you 1 and 1 makes 3. I tell you there are more than 2 genders. Yeah, that's people telling you you're wrong because this person said cult of personality. Neon Lights Nobel Prize. We're bringing that up again. When a leader speaks, that leader dies. And I think that's in reference to that people, like, again, when we're with the cult of personality, we're not focusing even on the person. We're focusing on the person because of what him or her has said or done. So I also believe, and I could be wrong, especially because, you know, when people write songs, they have original meanings to shit. They have an idea of what they want the song to mean. And to me, the important thing to gather from when a leader speaks, that leader dies. People aren't looking at you anymore. They're looking at what you said. And they begin tying in you with what you said as one. Not as separate things, but as one principled piece of information. And that piece of information ties into your being. Yep, you don't have to follow the leader, but you choose to. Only you can set you free. Same thing there. And that's what the line goes up here. You don't have to follow me. You don't have to follow the cult of personality. Only you can set me free. Only you can actually make the cult of personality a reality. And what's interesting, too, is that the elites rub this in your face every day, and the song even mentions how they do that. You gave me fortune, you gave me fame, you gave me power in your God's name. I'm every person you need to be. I'm the cult of personality. And then the key point ending is they have some speeches where from, you know, John F. Kennedy, ask not what your country can do for you. And then they mention FDR's, the only thing we have to fear is fear itself, and it's true. And it's the fear that drives the cult of personality one way or the other. Fear of the other side or fear of the side that the cult of personality is actually focusing on. There's so much shit to unravel, and if you barely even start reading into this, you realize where it started, and you realize ultimately where it's going to end. And it's shape-shifted, again, over decades, into something so violent and vile that it has encompassed the entirety of our lives. It's no longer just politics. It's everywhere. YouTube, or otherwise, is pretty crazy. Movies, books, sports, education, nature, space. It's like, what is going on, man? No one can be. Why can't people form their own personality instead of forming around the personalities of others? Jesus. Hope to God people can wake up sooner than not. Anywho, hope you like this analysis. Hope you actually got something out of it. And to me, you know, when I started reading about the cult of personality, it made me realize just how poignant this song really was, especially for the time. Came out in 1988. This is way before people were like really keying in as to what, like the public, right over your head. Nyong. Not gonna see it. Crazy. Anyway, stay joyful, stay humorous, and most importantly, stay clown-pilled. And don't get absorbed into the cult of personality with anybody, whether it ranged from anywhere and anyone, from Mark Zuckerberg to Jack Dorsey, to Joe Biden, to Donald Trump, to the CEO of YouTube, whose last name is like unpronounceable, everyone says it differently. The people like Ben Shapiro. You know, if you follow the cult of personality enough, you're going to realize that pretty soon you're going to fall down really hard, flat on your liberal face or your conservative face, because if you follow the cult of personality anywhere, you're going to have a major problem. If the cult of personality formed around me at like a very high level, people would look at me and start to begin to realize that I am in fact a god. I can spawn things out of midair with all of the energy within my being, and you can't stop me. By the power of Torah, by the power of the cult of personality, I will absorb you. Ben Shapiro out.